All right, good to vach. This is the daf for Sunday. We did yesterday. We did daf hey. So now we're up to daf vav. Very very interesting daf. In Avodah Zarah, we start off talking about Noach, about Noah, and so we're going to talk a little bit about this. Go over this as well. This should be a little nishmas about Avraham and Yosef Alevi. So, we have a question here that is understood that Noah was not brought to be bringing on the ark any animal that's a treifa. A treifa is an animal that has a terminal disease. And so there's an opinion that anything that has a terminal disease cannot give birth. It's not capable of reproduction. This is according to the opinion that treifa melachis zera nafka nichlamanda amar treifa niyaladas. So in Genesis 7:3 it says that Noah is supposed to bring onto the ark all the animals to keep their seed alive, and so therefore it shouldn't be bringing an animal that has a terminal disease. However, it would seem that that's only according to the opinion that an animal that has a terminal disease cannot give birth. And now we're on our daf, on daf vav, 6a, in Avodah Zarah. But there is an opinion that a treifa, an animal with a terminal disease, can give birth and can beget children. So therefore, does that mean therefore that that he could have brought a treifa? So Amakra itach b'dumen lach. So he said that Noah, the scripture there in Genesis 6:19 says that you should bring the animals with you to keep alive in the ark. So with you means that they're like you. And just like you, Noah, you don't have a terminal disease. We knew he lived for a long time after the flood, for hundreds of years. So too, the animals should be animals that could live out the year, that they're not terminally ill. So the Gemara asks, maybe Noah himself had a terminal disease. He said no, because in Genesis 6:9 it says Tomim Ksiv Bey, that Noah was perfect. So the Gemara asks, but maybe this word that he's perfect means in his conduct and not in his physical status. So tzaddik sivbei. Well, the same verse, it says tzaddik tomim, he was righteous and perfect. So righteous tells us about his deeds. So we could say righteous is his deeds. That was written. And tomim, perfect, is his physical perfection. Dilma tomim d'rachav tzaddik b'masav hava. Well, maybe he was a tomim, he had perfection in his ways, but d'rachav, tzad, meaning, like Rashi says, for example, we'll look at Rashi. What does he say here? It says Torah d'rachav anav ushval ruach, that he was humble and of a lowly spirit, a humble spirit. Tzaddik b'masav b'lei chamas, that he was righteous in his deeds, that he did not rob from anybody, whereas other people in his generation were guilty of theft. Noah was innocent. So tamim b'drachav tzaddik b'masav hava, meaning that the perfection was his character, but character doesn't always relate into how you act, and how you act doesn't always relate into the character. So Tzaddik Tomim could mean that he, both in terms of character and in terms of deed, both levels of piety. Gemara says, forget about this whole idea that Noah was terminally ill. Because when he said bring animals like you, meaning you should only bring treifa animals that are terminally ill, and not bring healthy animals, doesn't make any sense. So, fact the Gemara, now that we see it says you should bring the animals with you, that means itach. This term itach, with you, means like you, not a treifa. Lach yiser lamali. So then, what do we learn from this verse to keep alive the seed? Then it doesn't teach us. Then that to keep alive the seed doesn't teach us about that it's not a treifa. That's not a terminally ill animal. Philozokin Philosaurus Kosav Rachmana Zara. So, first of all, the word itach means with you, doesn't really mean like you. This is how the rabbis are interpreting it. The simple meaning is with you. So you could think the simple interpretation would be to keep animals with you. You have pets, so you feel companionship. But so you could have a pet that's a sterile animal, an old animal that's past its years. So that's why the merciful Lord, had to write Zerah, the seed, that the reason why God told Noah to take the animals in the ark was not so he should have some pets, but rather so that we should repopulate the animal kingdom, which would otherwise go extinct. Boilu. So we go back to our Mishnah, which talks about Lifnei Eidehen. Incidentally, in today's Haftarah, yesterday's Haftarah, if you're watching this Sunday, had the word Yom Eidam. The word Eid appears there. So Boilo Shloshim Hein V'Eidehen, Oidilma Hein B'Lo Eidehen. So it says Lifnei Eidehen Shloshi Yomim. Mishnah says 3 days before the pagan festivals, there was a prohibition on doing business. So was the prohibition just for? Did 3 days include the festival itself?
What?
For a total of 3 days, or was the festival prohibited with 3 days before that? To mean a total of 4. So Toshma. So we have another Mishnah. Shlomo.
Move it to here.
Yeah. Oh. Rabbi Shmuel Omer Shloisha Lifneihem Shloish Lachreim Aser. So.
You're tricky.
There's a Mishnah that we're going to have later that says before and after the festivals 3 days. So that Mishnah says before and after 3 days before and 3 days after. So why would he include the day itself in those 3 days before and 3 days after? That it's only a total of 5 days? No, obviously it's a total of 7 days. I the son of Shloish Lefneim, Tadanami Shloisha Lachreihem. So because he says before and after, it shows that it's 2, but no, you could also put it over here. This will hold it. Get your fingers out of there. And so it could be 3 days before and 3 days after. Could include the holiday itself. In order to indicate only 5 days and not 7 days.
It's ought to now.
So, wait, hold on.